Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast. This is episode 34 of season 2, and we're glad to have you listening with us today. In today's episode, we're going to be looking into how to use your Amazon Echo to look up phone numbers. How do you look up phone numbers? And this is an updated episode, so previously we had addressed this, but there's now some new features. So we'll be addressing those here in episode 34. But before we get into that material and the meat of the subject, we're going to have a little message about the Echo Tips podcast. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Hello, I'm David Ward, and if you haven't listened to our podcast, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill Industries of the Valley in Southwest Virginia. Today's Echo Tip, as we outlined earlier, is going to be dealing here with episode 34 with looking up phone numbers with your Amazon Echo. Now, you might recall that back in Season 1, Episode 9, we talked about this very subject, how it has like a yellow pages that you could verbally ask for the phone number. Sometimes it'll even give you the hours of the business you're looking for and how to go about doing that. But before I start demonstrating this and some of the new changes that have evolved, I'll ask you to take that microphone button on your Amazon Echo, if you have one there, especially if you're listening to this tutorial, and you'll want to shut that, mute her ears, and press that button. So it has a picture of a microphone on it with a slash through it. That'll shut her ears off, so your Echo won't be responding when I'm trying to talk to the one here in the studio. And that kind of might break up the instruction a little bit. If you have an Echo with a screen on it, it has a very similar button along the top edge. I think it's usually on the far left of the screens facing you. And I'll put a little red bar at the bottom. And that tells you also that she's muted. Okay, so I'll just give you a second to do that. All right, now hopefully that you've muted yours, and I got mine listening here in the studio. We can practice some of this. So let me just give you an example. I think the new feature will automatically be elicited when I practice here. So let's give an example of a local business. We're going to use Walmart, I think, as an example. So I'm going to ask our A-lady friend here a question. Alexa, what's the phone number for the nearest Walmart?
The phone number for Walmart Supercenter, located on Valley View Boulevard Northwest, is 540-265-5600.
Okay, so there you go. It gave us the phone number right away, and it can also prompt us to even make phone calls to those. Let's try a different business here. Alexa, what's the phone number for the nearest Kroger?
The phone number for Kroger, located on Hardy Road Lake Drive, is 540-345-7017.
Okay, so I'm not too sure exactly what's happening. She usually will have an audio prompt to call Walmart. She'll come back and ask you to call Walmart. Of course, they're always tweaking the software, so maybe that's not going to work right now. So let's maybe prompt it in a different way. Alexa, call the nearest Walmart.
Calling Walmart Salem's home.
Thank you for calling your local Walmart. We appreciate your business.
Alexa,
Look forward to the...
hang up. Okay, so even if they've changed the prompting where sometimes they'll come back and say, do you want to call Walmart? You can directly invoke it by saying call Walmart, call Kroger, call whatever, grocery store or pharmacy. And instead of formerly only being able to use contacts that were already in your address book, it will pull right from the Yellow Pages listing and then place that phone call, assuming you have the phone calling feature enabled on your Amazon Echo. So that's a very cool and awesome, powerful feature, hands-free, and it's just pretty handy. All right, so that'll conclude our little discussion about the phone calling features connected with looking up Yellow Page references. Next time, we're going to be talking about podcasts. Our next episode, podcast and audiobooks through the Audible service with Amazon. And in particular, we're going to be talking about new navigation techniques. So in the past, we have talked about playing podcast and audiobooks through the Audible service, but now there's some new ways to navigate around, just not skip episodes or play previous episodes, but ways to move around inside that content. So we'll be talking about that on the next episode. So it's time to turn your microphone back on, start practicing some of the things you've learned during our little tutorial episode. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program at Goodwill, signing off, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision. with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.